I'm hugging my two sons, like vividly. And like I see them when they're young and I'm like picking them up and they're like, then I see them when they're adults and then I see them on my deathbed. Like just, I can see them.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, why? I would be doing this every day, all day long.
Yeah,
why are you even here right now?
Yo, play that back.
Have you guys seen the Gateway experience? That like CIA paper that was...
I just sent it to you.
Did you?
Oh, this is the story I was telling you yesterday. No. Yes.
Wait, so
Bro,
you thought it's
Have you read the Gateway Process yet?
I printed it off like a few weeks ago.
Okay, I've read it and I've done it. No, I've read it and I've done it.
With the tapes and everything?
Yep. And it's fucking... This is okay. I told Jamie yesterday.
So we're in a simulation.
So, okay. For anyone who hasn't really, like, I got to prep myself for this story.
He's literally going to have to like link the paper so that you guys don't think he's
okay,
such
even
a
Jamie
loser.
was like, what the fuck?
No, yeah, I
How do you
had
explain
a
it?
flip through. I showed it to Sharks as well. We had a flip through.
Yeah. So anyone who hasn't seen the Gateway Process CIA paper yet, in short, it's like there is another dimension that is like known as the absolute, which is we're limited by time and space here.
Yeah.
In the absolute, there is none. When you go into deep REM sleep, your conscious accesses that. That's why you can't remember it. So,
Like the Upside Down.
what do you mean by that?
It's just a Stranger Things joke.
Oh,
Hopper's not dead, by the way. Who fucking knew? Sorry, go on. Do you guys no one watch Stranger Things?
I did, but what is there new one out?
Apparently, yeah. I saw like it was leaked from the US or whatever.
Fuck. So excited. Obviously, he didn't die. Though.
Obviously, that shows shit now anyway. Sorry, carry on.
Carry on.
Talk about the other dimension.
Talk about that.
And how do we get
that
there?
is weird that you brought
How do we
that up,
get there,
though.
Blake?
It's weird. So
You're tripping him out right now.
Yeah. So the brain operates on a vibration the whole time. Like it's always oscillating, and it operates in a beta wavelength, which is like 26 hertz and around there. When you go to sleep, it drops down to theta, which is 4 to 7 hertz. Have I lost you yet?
No. Is this legit thing?
Yes.
It's not just someone hypothesizing.
No.
So, 'cause I read. It sounded.
I'm
like
getting
it
there.
was
I'm getting there. So when you're in a shallow sleep, when you're dreaming and everything, you're in 4 to 7 hertz with your brain, like it drops down. And then when you drop into delta, that's deep REM. That's why you don't remember it. But what happens then is in this absolute, which is, they've called it the absolute. Basically, it's like you're not limited in space and time. So if you wanted to go to anywhere in like the world or the universe, it's instant.
So it's not like lucid dreaming at all?
Linked, very linked. So they've done studies in it, and they had people on opposite sides of the country in America. They had a notepad with 10 letters on it, and the people, they didn't get 100%, but they could get a bunch of them from this like accessing of it. So basically, with what you do is you listen to a certain wave frequency while meditating, and it brings your brain down to a lower frequency. So I started doing it because I've been meditating for like 3 years now. And the first time I did it, which was like last Friday, I think 2 Fridays ago, the first one, it felt like I got pulled into a vortex. And like I felt my brain just getting like thrown in, how they sort of describe DMT trips, where it's like that slingshot. And then what happened, I could hear my voice like a child just going, wee, woohoo, wow. Like just hearing shit. And I'm like, fuck, this is mad. The next day I did it again for half an hour this time, not 10 minutes. And I've been going through shit with my parents, like just real stressful stuff. Like when your body's just constantly angry and you just want to punch stuff.
Shout out Blake's parents.
Shout out. But like, yeah, so like real bad shit. So I'm meditating, not thinking about anything, just like trying to just forget and, whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing these like piranha looking demon things coming at me.
Hectic.
And I'm like genuinely scared. Like I'm actually fearful. Like how when you're in a dream, like you feel things. So I'm feeling this like fear of these demon things coming at me. And then I see this like blue light come across and start like getting rid of them and like zapping them and stuff. And I'm like, thanks, Jasper. I'm like, who the fuck is Jasper?
That's so... And how conscious were you at the time?
I was like, it was exactly the same as dreaming, but like remembering the whole thing.
But you were not technically asleep. Like
No,
you
I
were just seated?
I'm sitting upright. Yeah.
Fuck.
So like I'm seeing this thing, I'm like, thanks, Jasper. And I like just all of a sudden everything like that I was angry about just washed. 100% washed. And like straight after, even Stacey's like, you seem different. I'm like, yeah. It just was. It is what it is.
I just trip balls for half an hour.
Yeah, but I was just like, I'm like, it just is what it is. And then, like 3 days ago, Stacey was like, because she's in these like into rocks and all this weird like hoobie doobie stuff, and
I got a great story about that.
That's what you did's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Right? That is
yeah,
what I'm
that's where I crossed the line
Like,
is rocks. Okay.
CIA
So I was tripping my nuts
paper
off, and
is
she's like,
fine.
"Hey, look at these rocks." I was like, "Fuck, baby, I'm trying to trip my nuts off here. All right,
Yeah.
go
I'm
back in the
telling
other
you
room."
what.
You go back with your rocks, okay?
Who's Jasper? I don't know. All right,
Okay,
that's
so
a
ba-
nice salt lamp.
So,
Oh,
so,
Jesus.
so the Jasper thing. So Stacey like comes across the like this thing on the description of this rock, and she sees it's called Jasper, and she's like, "That's fucking weird. Like, why Jasper?" And then she's reading it, and she sends me the screenshot, and it's like Jasper is known as the ultimate nurturer. He comes in times of stress and anxiety and rids you of negative energy.
What?
And I'm
It's
like,
a little
what
bit
the
weirder than that.
fuck?
He's kind
Oh,
of.
I'm getting to the next stuff. I'm having.
No, I was going to say how I actually found that Jasper was even a stone, because I'm new to the crystals and the stones.
The rock stuff.
And the only reason I found it was I was watching my
Fuck.
Tantra teacher.
I had a year on that stuff, and you can't change. Like,
And she had this big, thick bangle. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they make crystal bangles, because that would be really cool, right? Like the sound and everything. So I'm looking on Etsy, and I select Australian-only companies. And I'm scrolling down through, and all of a sudden I see this really pretty one. And it says Jasper Stone. And I'm like, what the F? Jasper
Yeah.
Stone. This is weird. And that's how it led into
but
that.
just the
It's so
just
weird.
the fact that of all random names that comes to my head, like Jasper's so just.
that's not a name.
It's
You don't
not a-
go
it's-
for that.
It's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and why it was vivid. Like, I'm like, man, thanks so much, Jasper. And
That's
then,
hectic.
And then the fact that the description of the stone is exactly what it did, which was come in a time of stress and anxiety and strip you of negative energy.
But you still like, oh, she's still into stones.
Yeah,
Right?
that
This
doesn't make
magical
sense, okay.
stone she
I
brought
That
home.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it gets weirder. So the
Next
next
time you
She
see him,
brought a
he'll be like
legitimately
covering.
magic stone home, and you still talk shit about it.
That's my thing. Like literally, the stone is what clarified this all for you.
So
No,
what-
because that was what made it kind of weird. But hold on, it gets weirder. So the next day, I have another like half an hour meditation session, and I feel I'm hugging my two sons, like vividly, and like I see them when they're young, and I'm like picking them up, and they're like, then I see them when they're adults, and then I see them on my deathbed. Like just I can see them.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, why? I would be doing this every day, all
I've been
day
doing-
long.
yeah, I
Why are
have.
you even here right now?
But like so, and like it was so real that I literally was crying. Like I'm crying from it.
Was he crying, Stacey? Is that true?
But she doesn't. I don't let her in the room, and I'm
he shuts the door.
Okay.
yeah.
You both kind of
Just on the couch, just, just like
No. It wasn't even.
just moving stones around. Oh, Jasper! Have fun in there,
That'd
darling.
be so funny. Like
Lunch is ready.
I'm just like moving stones, making all of this happen, and he has no
Yeah.
idea. Like I'm just a
drawing
total
pictures
witch.
of two sons
Are
and
they still
shit.
filming, by the way? Okay, good. So anyway, so like I'm like not crying, anything like like just it was just I'm still, but then there's like tears coming out. Like if you're looking at me taking away the tears, I'm just there normally. So that was weird. And then I come out to Stacey, I'm like, yeah, I'm having two sons. And she's like, not her, I am. But so that was, and she's like, okay, cool. Like, cause she's like, yeah, I've heard all this shit before, like with the Hoobie
Yeah,
Doobie
yeah.
Rock stuff.
Yeah. With the magic rock that she's bought in a store.
Yeah. But then, so the weirdest, the next weird one was that night. So Sunday night, I am like meditating again, 9:30 at night. And for some reason, I'm like, you know, because you can distance travel with this thing. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to mum and my sister. And I'm like in their heads going, hey, oh, sorry. Like the way in which I'm talking is like kind of pretentious. Like it's all like, it is time. Like, but I don't know why I'm fucking doing this.
Right.
And it's like,
Duh,
it's
you're in
time. You need
multi-dimension.
to reach out to me. It's time we talk. We need to heal. And that's 9:30 at night on Sunday. I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning to an email from my mum going, hey, I think it's time we talk.
So you brainwashed her.
Yeah, without even seeing it. But how fucking weird is that, man?
Dude, we should go home and do this.
Yeah.
This sounds legit.
You
So
really
where can you get the
It's
tapes
so-
from? Because you need the audio tapes from the 80s or whatever. don't
I
you?
didn't find them. I just found because if you Google HemiSync,
He has a whole notes folder on iPhone.
on iPhone. Like I've got all these ones for
Literally
different
just
durations.
share that folder with them.
Me too. I got a bunch of notes on my iPhone.
Yeah, read it first. I'll send you a video. I'll send you a video of it too, like of another guy explaining
one
it. So
that I
then that
sent.
way it's like,
Okay.
because when you're reading it, like it took me 2 weeks to
Just send it
do it.
before you forget. Like I will definitely do that tonight.
Yeah, it's
You
so
miss-
weird. Because do you meditate? Yeah. So like I
We
don't know.
could do it like if we did it at the same time. Be like, let's go hang out.
Is literally going to be in like the 9th dimension. Like he's
Well, I'll be
vegan,
meditating,
bro.
I'll be like,
All
"What
of
up,
his
Sharks?"
cells are clean.
Yeah. Just come around to your
There's
place
no
to
bad
train.
energy
He was like levitating. Hey, I'll come back. Don't worry. Shucks, he's gone.
The weird thing though about it is
He's returned
it's
to the
linking up.
ocean.
Like as I was reading it, a lot of stories that I've heard from other people, like to do with aliens and shit, was starting because usually when it's alien talk, you're like, oh fucking weirdos, and they always are. Like they're talking like, yes, I spoke to an alien.
Just like
And you're
your wife, you
"Alright,
mean."
This dude's just weird.
Yeah.
With the rocks.
But
and
there was an interview I saw on another podcast, and this guy was talking about aliens and CIA papers and all this sort of shit. Unfortunately, he was a weird fucking dude, so you kind of took it with a
Wouldn't
bar
you
of
be
soap.
weird if you've seen
A
all
bar
that
of soap?
stuff?
That's not a
Yeah.
saying. It's grain of
It
salt.
was weird from a bar of soap.
I cleaned myself.
Like,
of
have
those
you
sins.
seen those memes where people are like before LSD and they're like this sweet girl with their legs crossed, and then
Yeah.
after LSD, colors, rainbow,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So
Collecting stones.
but yeah,
Can
the way
I-
in which this guy was talking about seeing aliens, he goes, again, because these aliens are 100,000, a million years ahead of us. Like we assume they're at the same technological place that we are. But the way in which he's explaining it is, you need a group of which you are meditating in an open land, and then they come through a different dimension. Like literally, he's explaining what's in this fucking paper, and that's how he's seeing
there's
it.
aliens on the other side just waiting for someone to like pop up through
So,
the
on
dimension, or
multiple-
they can
so-
see on a fourth plane. Like,
So
what's,
they're in the absolute, and they know how to sit in it. Like it's like the internet.
how do we know that? That's
Because-
where it gets a bit like.
Well, this is a paper from '83, though.
so it must be true.
Well, no, I'm saying like if they were doing this shit back in like 37 years ago,
What are they doing now?
shit,
FBI, open up! Shit.